Hello everybody, hello replay viewers and live viewers. I am Heather here with Nighttime Tales Tonight for the Strathmore Library, and today's theme is going to be Oliver Jeffers, and he is an author illustrator. So I've got a couple of his books here that we're going to be reading and a couple more that I'm just going to show you because they're really good. I've got Pippin here with me for story time as usual, and she seems a little sleepy today, so she might just be laying down here on the edge of the screen. We'll see. I think I'm going to turn my lamp on here real quick. There we go. And today I am wearing my comfy leggings. These ones are fuzzy on the inside, so they're pretty much pajamas, and I've got my thick fuzzy socks on. It's a very Christmassy sort of feel today, and of course my Harry Potter hoodie that Pippin likes. Yes, you like it, don't you? She likes to get fur on it anyways, don't you? It's already very furry here. So, oh, she is feeling needy today, I guess. Here she comes to sit right in my lap. So we're going to start today with our hello song. So get your clapping hands ready. And it goes, bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loudly as we can. Hello! Bread and butter, ow. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quietly as we can. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quickly as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slowly as we can. Hello. So, Pippin got a little involved in that one. Hopefully you could still understand me. So, if you're here watching live, let me know you're watching. Comment below and say hi, and I'll give you a shout out. Let me know your kids' names of who's watching. And yeah, thanks for being here if you're live or watching the replay. So we're going to start today with this book called The Moose Belongs to Me. And as I said at the very beginning, our theme today is Oliver Jeffers, and he is an author and illustrator. Okay, you're going to need to move over just a little bit. Sit there. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Alright, we're going to flip this around so that you can see the text front ways. Hopefully I've got you right there. The Moose Belongs to Me, written and illustrated by Oliver Jeffers. And our craft today is to do with the moose in this story, so keep that in mind. This moose belongs to me. Wilfred owned a moose. He hadn't always owned a moose. The moose came to him a while ago, and he knew, just knew, that it was meant to be his. Marcel. He thought he would call him Marcel. He added a little name tag to the moose's antlers. I think they're antlers on the moose. They're not horns. I think they're antlers. He began following Marcel, explaining the rules of how to be a good pet. Here he's got his thought bubble. Looks like Marcel is serving him a nice cold drink while Wilfred sits on the couch. What's going on, Pippin? Come sit. Sit down for story time. Sit. Good girl. Much of the time, it seemed as though the moose wasn't listening, but Wilfred knew he was, mostly because he followed Rule 4 very well. Not making too much noise while Wilfred plays his record collection. Well, that's very good. Very good for Marcel, following direction number 4. Sometimes the moose wasn't a very good pet. He generally ignored rule number 7, going whichever way Wilfred wants to go. And Pippin is ignoring that rule as well. Can you sit down? Sit down. Sit. Good girl. Lay down. So here is Wilfred trying to push Marcel the moose. The moose had a very good sense of direction, and Wilfred did not. And because the moose was particularly poor on Rule 7, subsection B, maintaining a certain proximity to home, Wilfred quickly learned to bring some string along on their outings so he could find his way back again. There's Marcel the moose going off in his own direction. Sometimes the moose was an excellent pet. He had no trouble with Rule 11, providing shelter from the rain. Wow, that is a very useful use for a moose. Or Rule 16, knocking down things that are out of Wilfred's reach. Good work, Wilfred says there. He's retrieving apples for him. That's very nice. One day, as Wilfred discussed their plans for the coming year on a particularly long walk, he made a terrible discovery. Oh, so these are the plans the coming year. Looks like Wilfred the boy wants to go floating together in a barrel, but it looks like they're coming up to a cliff. So, what's the terrible discovery? Someone else thought they owned the moose. Rodrigo, you're back! Wilfred was dumbstruck. This moose was Marcel, not Rodrigo. The old lady was mistaken, and Wilfred thought it only proper that he correct her. This moose belongs to me, he explained. Oh. Think they're gonna get in a fight, or are they gonna work it out? And to prove it, he called Marcel. Heel. But the moose did not respond. He seemed more interested in the old lady. Good, Rodrigo. The old lady's given him apples, so I don't blame him. Embarrassed and enraged, Wilfred rushed off for home. Fine. But in his haste, and miles from anywhere, he tripped over his string and got tangled up. Oh no, look at him, he's stuck in the forest, tangled in his string. And there he lay. Wilfred was beginning to get a little bit worried. It was past his home time now, and the monsters would be out soon. Lots of scary things in the dark in the forest. There he is, sad and lonely. He had just ruled out the last of his options. He's got a bear with an axe, a penguin, a saw, a saw-nosed shark of some kind, a hammer, a lightning cloud. When along came the moose. Is he going to come to the rescue? And performed Rule 73 brilliantly, rescuing your owner from the perilous situation. And he's still got his Marcel tag on. Look, Marcel scooped him up with his antler, and Wilfred looks very happy. All was forgiven, and perhaps Wilfred admitted he'd never really owned the moose anyways. Well, looks like they ripped off his name tag here. With that in mind, he and the moose reached a compromise. The moose would agree to all of Wilfred's rules whenever it suited him. Good agreement. Look at that beautiful illustration of the mountains. Very nice. Dominic, you're back! And you brought me an apple. Here's another one of the moose's possible owners. It's an old man this time. So now all of these people think they own him, but really Marcel the moose just doesn't have an owner. A true owner. He's a wild animal, isn't he? So if we look at these illustrations that Oliver Jeffers, the illustrator and author, did, they're very neat because it looks like he's painted some of these. That moose looks like he's painted. Some of these look digital, so you can kind of see pixels in this photo, maybe it's a photo of the background. Same with this, it's kind of pixelized. And then you can tell he's drawn this storm cloud, and this background, you can tell there's like an old line drawing image in there. So he uses lots of mediums to create his artwork, which is very cool. And he creates beautiful scenery like this as well. I especially like this last picture. Beautiful painting of the mountains, and you can see the details in the forest floor and the water. Really beautiful illustration. So Oliver Jeffers makes all the artwork in his books, and he writes the words for his books, so he's the author as well. Sometimes he's just the illustrator, and sometimes he's also the author as well. But all the books I have to show you, he is both, so that is pretty cool. So I'll show you some of the other ones here. So here's the one we just read, and this is the one we're going to read next, The Great Paper Caper, and he wrote and illustrated it as well. I did notice this, so in some of his books he references his other books. So on this particular page, when the character is thinking of ways to escape, one of them is this bear holding the axe, and that is the main character from this book. So that's pretty cool. Pippin is sticking her nose in here. So we'll read this one next. This one is called The Huey's Inn. It Wasn't Me. And this is an Oliver Jeffers one. So I'll just flip through this. This one's actually a board book, which is nice, and it's not too long. It's simple words in there, nice illustrations. Pippin's ears are twitching when I flip the pages. What We'll Build, Plans for Our Together Future. This is really beautiful as well. And Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth. And another one of his books that I really love is called Stuck. That one I didn't get ordered in time, but it's a really good one as well. So before we start our next book, I'll tell you what you need for the craft. Don't lick the books, Pippin. Don't lick them. No kisses. So the craft we're going to do is this moose headband, and we are going to create the antlers using our handprints. So you will need some brown paper. I've got a couple scrap pieces of brown here. You can use construction paper. And then another color for the antlers. They could be whatever color you want, but I've got this scrap piece of pattern paper here. I'm hoping I can fit 2 handprints on here. We'll try our best. So I'll use that for the antlers. Then you'll also need glue, scissors, a pencil, and a black marker. It doesn't have to be permanent, that's just what I have handy. So that is what you will need for the craft that we'll do at the end of program. But first we're going to read our next book, and then we'll get into a yoga pose. So we'll sit you back up here. And again, our next book is called The Great Paper Caper by Oliver Jeffers, who wrote and illustrated this one as well. We've got a little paper airplane on the front page. We've got some animals sitting around a dinner table. Oh, how cute. There was a time in the forest. Look at all of their dens. Their entries are at the base of the trees, and then underground are these animal dens, and this shows like a section of the ground so you can see into all of their dens. I love Oliver Jeffers' creative illustrations like that. They're very cool. So you can see each animal's den. This looks like a bear maybe. This is maybe a deer, a duck or something, a bear, and a little human. in this one, taking a bath. There was a time in the forest when everything was not as it should have been. The bear is off with his axe. He's got his pile of wood. This owl's coming to a landing on the tree. Everyone who lived there had been noticing strange things. Branches, they agreed, should not disappear from trees like that. Oh, the beaver is pointing up at the tree, at the cut-off branch. Here's all the animals watching, and a little human. Oh, that one was a piggy. And look at this bear over here. What's he got? Looks like a stack of paper. Someone, they agreed again, must be stealing them, and they each, in turn, blamed the other. Beaver thinks it must be pig. The deer thinks it must be the owl, using it for his nest. The goose thinks it must be the beaver, chopping them down with his teeth. The little human thinks it must be the goose, and the owl thinks it must be the human. They're all blaming each other. But they all had a solid alibi, which meant it couldn't possibly be one of them. So the tree thief must be someone else. They're all sharing their alibi, what they were doing. Beaver was out swimming. Goose was getting his feathers all done up. Deer was playing video games. Pig was cooking some bacon. Human was sleeping. Owl was staring at a tree. Oh, and look what's happening in the background. They don't even see him. Looks like Bear is up to something. It was all very mysterious indeed. Oh, Bear is sawing off a branch. And look, Owl's coming in for a landing, but his branch isn't there anymore. So he lands on the ground. He face planted. An investigation was launched to get to the bottom of things. They were each given a different job to do, so the tree thief could be caught. I'll be the detective, and you can be the judge. Why do I have to be the judge? Why not him? I'm the prosecutor, that's why. Oh, and they're caution taping off this stump, which is clearly some evidence, and over here there's another stump with Bear up to something. The 112th Biennial Paper Airplane Competition, next Saturday, 2 p.m. All entries welcome. Oh, Bear's dragging off another tree. He's got his flashlight out. They took photographs, made notes, and examined every leaf. But no matter how hard they investigated, no clues could be found. And yet, they haven't spotted these little paper airplanes, have they? There's test flying his airplanes. This one did a loop and fell, and he got upset and crumpled it in a ball. Beaver's over here examining a leaf on the ground. Bear is hiding behind this tree. Then an eyewitness report led them to some evidence that had blown in not far away. There's a moose in this story as well. And the moose has led them to this paper airplane. It had all the bear's paw prints all over it. It's dusting for prints. Found some evidence finally. Hello, police. They had found their culprit. And there they are, watching him go off to his cabin with his load of wood. Advanced paper planery, favorite designs. There's Beaver peeking in the window, and Bear is putting this tree into this big machine, and out pops some paper. It says paper making machine. The police are coming. He talks to the animals. He's walking to Bear's house. And Bear is looking at these posters on his wall. He's got Champion 1936, Champion 1972 with their airplanes and their trophies. Looks like his family is a long line of airplane making champions. Knock, knock. There's the police car out the window. The bear was brought in to have his picture taken and was kept late into the night to answer questions. Where were you that night? We've got our policeman over in the corner, but the goose is doing the interrogation. The next day he confessed everything in court. All about the paper airplane competition and how badly he wanted to win. And he knew he wasn't very good and he had to run out of paper and he had no one to ask for help. He was so sorry for taking their trees without asking. He hadn't meant to do so much harm. There's poor Bear. He's sad. He's sharing his dream of winning #1 place. This court is adjourned, the deer says. Well, all right, they all thought. He'd have to make it up to them by replacing the trees. And a paper plane competition indeed. That sounded interesting. The bear kept his word and made it up to them. And as the others helped him gather up the old paper planes, they had an idea. There's Bear planting some more seeds. What a good idea. Replacing the trees. They put them all together and made a big one. Look at that big airplane, big enough to fly Bear to the finish line. Finished. This is the end. There's Bear taking care of his little tree saplings. And his animal friends look like they're all in the camper. The end. So, it turned out happy after all. Alright, we're going to do our yoga pose here. And if you are watching live, let me know. And I'll say hi, give you a shout out. There's Pippin, just came back to sit with me here. And let's choose a yoga pose. Let's do, how about, Flamingo Pose is a classic one. So I'm going to put the camera over here. And there's my water bottle in it. You won't be able to see my feet very well, but we're going to stand on one leg, put our foot onto our other leg, and put our arms go up like this for Flamingo Pose. So we'll balance on one leg and take some deep breaths. Breathe in and out. And in and out. And then we're going to switch legs, so stand and balance on the other leg. This time we'll put our flamingo wings out to balance, and we'll breathe in and out, and in and out. Good job, everybody. Okay, we're going to flip the camera around here so that we can do our craft on the floor here. So we'll move these books out of the way, push them up like that, get our papers out of the way. So this will be kind of a sideways view, but we're going to cut a couple of strips to make a headband that will fit around our head. So let's see, this, if I cut 2 strips this long, it should fit around my head, but I'll leave enough room to have a 3rd strip if I need it, and then we will measure. So we're going to, I think it'll be easier to tape these pieces, so I'll get some tape first. There's some tape. two little pieces like this. Pippin is very interested in helping with this craft. She wants to sniff everything. So now I'm going to measure around my head and just hold it where you need to tape it. So my head is about that big, and I will hold it and tape it there. So you can measure around your own head to make sure that it will fit your head. Pippin, you don't need to lick everything. There, see? Now I think I'll add some more tape on this side just so it sits better. There we go. So there's our headband piece, and now we are going to make the mousse piece for the front of the headband. Which way are we here? There. So this is what we're going to make next. So we'll cut a circle for the head part and a circle for the nose part and attach them together. So this is what our pencil is good for. I'll draw 2 circles, and I'll actually just draw them together. So it's kind of like the number 8, and I'm going to cut them out together so I don't actually have to glue them together. If you wanted, you could cut 2 circles and overlap them and glue them together like this, but it will be easier for me to just do it in one piece. So, oops, I was going to use the side that doesn't have the pencil on it, but there's a sticker on the other side. So let's see if this will peel off. Otherwise I can just erase my pencil I just drew. Oh, that sticker will peel off, so that's going to work just fine. So here is my moose head shape, and I'm going to add a little bit of details. So I do want some eyeballs on there. I didn't actually grab any white paper for the eyeballs, so I think I'll just use this scrap that I have handy and make some circles with this brown. He can have brown eyes. So I'll make 2 circles, cut them out for his eyeballs. There, we've got his eyeballs there, and then he just has like some black dots for his nostrils, so I can just draw those on. I'm going to start by gluing his eyes on. So we'll put these like that, and then I'll draw little black dots in his eyes so they actually look like eyes. Maybe I'll also add some eyelashes if we want it to be a pretty moose. And I'm going to draw kind of a circle line there so we can tell where his nose ends, and then I'll put 2 little moose nostrils there. We could also draw a little mouth if we wanted. I'll give him a little smile and draw the centers of his moose eyeballs. Give him some moose eyelashes, or her, maybe it's a girl moose, whatever you want. There, can you see that face? There's our moose face. Now for the antler part, I'm gonna trace on the back of my paper here so I don't see my pencil lines, but I'm going to plan out how both my hands will fit on this, so I might have to cut my hand off a little bit on one side, but I'll put the first one close to the edge here and just trace my whole hand. And you're gonna want one of each hand, so you're gonna trace your other hand here as well. This isn't really big enough. If you have more paper, do that. Maybe we'll do it, yeah, we'll do it like this. That fits a little more of my hand on there. So now I'm using my non-dominant hand, my left hand, to trace out my right hand. So if you need help with this, get somebody to help you because lots of us don't write very well with our wrong hand. That's pretty normal. And we're gonna just cut both hands out now. And these are going to be our moose antlers. My hands are probably a bit bigger than what your hands will be, but I think smaller hands would look good for moose antlers. So that'll be very nice to get your own hands as moose antlers. There's one antler, and we'll do the other one here. My hands are pretty small for adult hands, but next to kids' hands, they are bigger. So we're just cutting these out. Looks like Pippin has finally lost interest in our craft, so she has stopped sniffing everything. There we go, there's our other hand. So we have one hand for each antler, so we're just going to glue these on, and I think I want my thumbs at the top so that you could do the opposite, have the thumbs on the bottom, which looks more like moose antlers. I feel like thumbs on the top look a bit more like moose antlers, so I'm going to glue them like this, but you can do it however you want. Oh, I put the glue on the wrong side. So I'm going to put some glue right there and attach that to my moose head. Add some to the other antler. Attach that. That's looking good. So now I'm going to add this right onto my headband that I already made. So I'll put a bunch of glue right here in the middle. You could tape this on if you needed to as well to add some extra security. I think I'll tape it on too because I want to try this on right away and we don't want it to fall off while I'm wearing it. I'm sure this will look hilarious. So let's try it on and then I'll show you what I look like. Here we go. Flipping it around. Oh yeah, that is pretty nice. It kind of covers my eyes if I wear it lower down like this, but I can wear it high up and I look like a very cool moose. So if you do this craft, I would love to see your creation. Show me what your moose antlers head face thing look like on you. I would love to see, and I hope you enjoyed this craft. I hope you enjoyed the whole program. I see some people are just tuning in and they're probably like, what is Heather doing? Yep, just wearing my moose hat. So thank you for watching. Comment below if you enjoyed, and let me know if you're here watching live, or if you're watching later, let me know as well. So I hope you liked these Oliver Jeffers books, and I hope you order some of them at the library. I highly recommend the book Stuck by Oliver Jeffers. That's a really funny one too. Or any of these other ones I mentioned that we didn't read. You can certainly request these at the library as well. So have a great night. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.